Straight ahead on CCX News, a runner struck and killed in Plymouth. Why police say this incident serves as a tragic reminder. Plus, growing jobs with light rail. A new training program begins that could help people who are underemployed or out of work. And later, where work is more like fun. The place in Golden Valley where sports fans experience a lot of nostalgia. CCX News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. We're learning new details about a jogger who was fatally hit while crossing County Road 101 in Plymouth.
The accident happened Saturday morning shortly before noon, and reporter Sonia Goins has the latest on the investigation.
Mike and Shannon, County Road 6 is open and traffic is moving smoothly. However, you can still see remnants of Saturday's accident. The pink markers in the street is where the victim died. Police are calling this a tragic accident.
It strikes our community deep when something like this happens.
Police say the vehicle was traveling eastbound on County Road 6 near Yuma Lane when the jogger was struck. Investigators talked with the 70-year-old driver today.
He's very still shooken up over the incident, but he's cooperating fully with the police department.
Neighbors say the victim is a man in his 70s.
He was an avid runner, ran all the time and stuff, but now he can't.
Donetta Gerbending doesn't know the victim personally, but she works at a group home across the street from where the accident took place. She would often see the man out jogging. She recognized his shoes.
Looking out the window, the shoe on the side of the road, and then coming around by the couch and seeing the body on the road. And him not moving.
She says the jogger might have tried to cross at the end of the cul-de-sac that backs up to busy County Road 6.
Everybody stopped, but started to walk up towards him and then just stopped and backed away because you could tell that he was gone.
Officials say this is a sad reminder that both drivers and pedestrians have to be extra careful and pay attention.
Pedestrians also have an obligation and responsibility, to keep our roadways safe, to make sure that they're crossing at the right locations, and adhere to the laws just like the drivers do.
In Plymouth, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
The speed limit on County Road 6 is 45 miles per hour. No word yet on how fast the driver was going. Also, the jogger was not crossing at a designated crosswalk. Police say this is risky, especially on a busy road like County Road 6.
A man who broke into gym lockers throughout the Twin Cities, including fitness clubs in Plymouth and Maple Grove, has been sentenced to prison. 39-year-old Ronald Guy of Minneapolis admitted to breaking into gym lockers at various Lifetime Fitness and LA Fitness locations. He would steal wallets, then make fraudulent credit card purchases. Guy pleaded guilty to 12 counts of financial transaction fraud. A judge sentenced him to more than 2 years in prison and ordered him to pay $12,000 in restitution. If you want to work on future light rail construction projects in the Twin Cities, there are some potential opportunities.
An orientation program started today in Minneapolis for unemployed or underemployed residents. And we get more from Eric Nelson, who joins us now. Eric?
Yeah, Shannon and Mike, there were 40 people at this inaugural seminar. This is a 10-week program that began at Twin Cities Rise in North Minneapolis. In 4 weeks, the orientation moves to North Hennepin Community College, where individuals will learn construction basics, OSHA training, and how to read blueprints. The goal is to prepare them so they can possibly be hired to work on light rail projects and eventually get a career in construction.
It's a fantastic opportunity, and it's important to the project office as well as important to the community that there's a level of inclusion, meaning that individuals from the community get to build and have an opportunity to participate in the construction of this very important rail system here. And so with this program, we hope that we're delivering that and impacting individuals in the community.
Now, the Botno and Southwest Light Rail projects are expected to create more than 14,000 construction jobs. There will be a need for workers in all phases of the industry as the Blue and Green Line extensions are completed. Of course, those projects still need funding. This apprentice prep training, which is known as LRT Build, is worth up to $4,000 per person. Those attending the sessions will learn many facets about the construction business.
Introduction to the industry. We're going to give them an OSHA 10, so they're going to get some basic safety training. And then we're going to actually expose them to the different crafts so they can have make an informed decision about what part of the building they want to do on this project.
The Botno and Southwest projects will need laborers, carpenters, iron workers, masons, and heavy crane and heavy equipment operators when they start up. Mike?
All right, Eric, thank you. The future site of Robbinsdale's Hy-Vee grocery store is looking a bit different by the day. Demolition of the old Terrace mall has been well underway for the past couple of weeks. And city officials expect the entire process to last a month. In the meantime, crews on site are now sorting many of the recyclable materials from rubble into large piles. Robbinsdale's city manager calls it a welcome sight.
It is nice to see that they do take the time to separate out different things that can get recycled rather than the old days when they would just take everything and put it in a landfill. So it's good to see that parts of the building will get repurposed.
Once the demolition is complete, crews will prepare the site for construction. Marcia Glick expects the new Hy-Vee to be open by next summer.
And now to a construction project in Maple Grove that could affect your commute on Tuesday. East Fish Lake Road over I-494 will be reduced to one lane for spot repairs. The closure is one day only and will last from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. A flagger will be on hand to direct traffic. And it's not the way hundreds of commuters wanted to start the work week after a holiday weekend. A crash closed down a busy freeway during the morning rush hour. 3 cars were involved in the crash on Interstate 394 just before 8 o'clock Monday morning. It started when police say one driver made an unsafe lane change. Traffic was diverted off the freeway as the crash blocked all westbound lanes for 50 minutes between Highway 100 and the Park Place Xenia Avenue exit. 2 people suffered minor injuries and were taken to the hospital to be checked out. All lanes of traffic were back open by 9 a.m. Dozens of runners from the Northwest Metro put themselves to the test in the Boston Marathon today.
And that includes Plymouth Mayor Kelly Slavik. She finished the 26.2-mile run in 3 hours and 49 minutes. That's just 1 minute behind her personal best in the Twin Cities Marathon that she ran in 2015 to qualify for the Boston race. Her target was to keep it under 4 hours today. She did that, but said it was tough.
I really just wanted to come and enjoy the experience, but of course you get out there and you start competing and running and you kind of forget just to enjoy and you focus a little more on your time. But from miles 17 to 21 is Heartbreak Hill, and that is pretty tough. It's very hilly, lots of ups and downs, but there's extra fans there cheering you on and holding up signs and letting you know that it's almost over.
Mayor Slavik says a lot of the course is actually downhill, but she says that part is also tough on the legs. The Boston Marathon is like the Super Bowl for runners.
You have to qualify for the race or else raise money for charity. 37 runners from the CCX News viewing area, including Mayor Slavik, participated in the race. The youngest local runner was 24-year-old Mark Harries of Plymouth. The oldest, 63-year-old Craig Deviney of Plymouth. The fastest local male finisher was 32-year-old Scott Richnovinsky of Maple Grove with a time of 2 hours, 51 minutes, and 18 seconds. That's 6 minutes, 32 seconds per mile. The fastest local woman was 39-year-old Danella Garth of Plymouth with a time of 3 hours, 26 minutes, and 43 seconds. Congratulations to all of the runners.
Yeah, absolutely. Still ahead on CCX News, a sports memorabilia collector's paradise.
We are off to Golden Valley where fun trumps work. Plus, hear what some local pitchers and coaches have to say about the new mandatory new pitch count rules for high school baseball.
But first, more rain on the way. Showers and thunderstorms likely on Tuesday. Two store owners say their first career was about making money.
Their second career was for the fun of it. In today's Business Matters, you'll see why. We spoke to the owners of Twin Cities Sports Cards and Papa Hawk's Sports and Collectibles.
I know exactly what people collect, what they're looking for.
An unassuming sports card shop in Golden Valley is like any good collection. Not flashy, but lets the quality speak for itself.
Here's a 1949 Yogi Berra.
Rob Hunnigs has been collecting cards since age 8.
Always wanted to open a shop.
After retirement, he had that chance.
Mark and I started kicking around the idea over 10 years ago. What if?
We have boxes and boxes of cards.
Mark Hochstetter handles the memorabilia.
I'm amazed every day, because you never know what to expect.
Baseball is still king in the collecting world.
You've got the 1961 Yankees.
But each sport has its faithful.
We've got game-used hockey sticks that are signed.
The shop looks more like a museum.
They are called the kissing bobbleheads from the 60s.
That gives you a lesson on sports history.
We got the Muhammad Ali piece signed.
Except everything has a negotiable price.
Even though it's a retail store, we're always negotiating it.
They are always buying.
If you want to sell it, we want to buy it.
But right now they've got so much.
If we never bought anything else, we could spend 2 years pricing it and we'd probably still have things left.
The average customer is like them.
People our age, more vintage, 55 and older, a lot of people that are 60, 65 and older.
Who look for the quality and the joy of finding that perfect piece.
It's not the go-go years of the late 80s and 90s. People aren't in it to make money the way they were back then when people went out and bought a Beckett and looked every month because the prices were increasing. Today it's more because it's a passion, and it's the same way for Mark and I.
And if you are a longtime customer, you've probably noticed the shop has moved. It used to be in a 600 square foot space on Hillsborough Avenue. Its new space is 2,200 square feet. So they're doing pretty well, Mike. Older customers, but they're bringing in the grandkids.
Oh,
so
good.
They're trying to introduce a new generation to collecting.
That's so cool.
It is.
Up next, a 90-year-old Golden Valley man who can soon check one off his bucket list.
We'll show you his exciting opportunity coming up next. But first, Benilde St. Margaret takes on Cooper in high school baseball. John Jacobson has the highlights up next in sports.
Tough play for Plymouth, throws to first again. I'm John Jacobson with sports. The Osseo softball team is aiming to be in at least the upper half of the Northwest Suburban Conference this spring. The Orioles hosted Blaine in a conference game, and in the top of the first inning of this one, Blaine's Taylor Bross sends one to the gap that scores 2 runs. Blaine gets 5 total in the inning for a quick lead. Osseo chips away in the bottom half of the first. Lane Ruska with a hit to score Andrea Denslake, and then Caitlin Schulte's base hit up the middle scores Amanda Fashing, cutting the lead to 5-2. And Osseo adds another in the third on a 2-out single by Saray Trice that played Truska. But it's all Blaine from there. In the top of the 5th inning, Ramsey Parent slices a hit the other way. Lauren Nelson comes around to score, and it's an 8-3 Blaine lead. Mallory Stone comes on to close in the 7th inning, striking out the side. Blaine wins 10-3. The Orioles are at Park Center on Tuesday. The Benilde St. Margaret's baseball team reached the state Class 3A tournament last spring, finishing 4th. The Red Knights met Cooper in a Metro West Conference game in the first conference game of this season for both teams. Benilde trying to start the season 2-0, and they break a scoreless tie in the 3rd inning. Matt Murnay with a little single into left field. The ball doesn't really take any roll, and Hyde Selke takes advantage of that. He comes around from second base to score on the play, and it's 1-0 Red Knights. Next up, Peyton James. He'll drive a single to right center field. Kyle Klacko and Murnane both score, and it's 3-0 BSM. A couple of batters later, still in the 3rd, Derek Drees at the plate. He singles to left. Henry Wolf comes in to score. Benilde has 5 runs in the inning. They lead at 5-0 through 3. Down 6-0 in the 4th. Cooper strings some hits together. Josh Gabrick with a sharp single to right field. Thomas Hall comes in to score. Hawks with 3 in that inning. But then the Red Knights get a couple of runs in the 5th. Braden Fitzgerald, a little dribbler here in front of the plate. The Hawks will get the out at first, but Drees dashes home from 3rd to score. Benilde scores 2 runs in both the 5th and 6th innings. Red Knights beat the Hawks 10-5. Benilde plays Edina tonight at US Bank Stadium. High school baseball players, specifically pitchers, are getting acclimated to the new rule this spring. Minnesota is now one of a handful of states to regulate pitch counts. Rules are now in place on how many pitches a pitcher can throw in one day. The maximum is now 105 in one game. That number goes up to 115 in the postseason. In addition, there are required days of rest in place for throwing between 31 and 50 pitches, 51 to 75, and 76 and above in a single game. We've talked to a handful of athletes and coaches this spring about the new pitch guidelines.
You have to have a staff, basically. You got to have at least 2 starters for sure, and then a handful of relievers. If you have 3 starters, you know, you're kind of ahead of the curve. So, you know, that's kind of what we're working towards, trying to at least slot 3 guys for sure, and then have some relievers there as well.
I don't think it'll affect us really that much, if at all, because like I said before, we got a lot of arms we can rely on. So I don't really foresee us needing to get near that pitch count limit, because I feel like either we're rolling and we don't need to get to that pitch count as with one pitcher, or we know that we have some solid guys in the bullpen that can back us up.
One thing we've seen in batters is that they start taking more pitches to get the pitch count up. And then you also see pitchers, they're going to throw more strikes now, because why waste your pitches? And so yeah, that's going to be, I think, one of our focuses on pitchers and talking how to adjust around the pitching.
Now you look at it, when can a kid return? Do you keep him under 30 pitches or under 50 pitches and hope he can come back for 2 days? And so I think there's going to be a little more looking at closer the number of pitches, obviously.
Teams are also now required to track and record on the Minnesota State High School League website the number of pitches thrown by both varsity and lower level pitches. The first offense for violating either the number of allotted pitches or the rest requirement is a forfeit of that game. That's all for sports. Mike and Shannon, back to you.
All right, thanks, John. Up next, an exciting opportunity for a Golden Valley man.
See what 90-year-old Emery Erickson will get to do when we come back.
And finally, a former high school shortstop will get a chance to take the mound for the Twins this week.
So I was talking one day to my daughter, who asked me if I had a bucket list, and I said, yeah, I think I did. I'd like to throw out the first pitch for a Twins game.
And a few days later, 90-year-old Emery Erickson found out he is on for a ceremonial first pitch. We helped him get in a little practice pitching today. It's something he's always wanted to do, and after a health scare changed his lifestyle several months ago, he says he put it on his bucket list. And as the big day gets closer, Emery says some of the fellow residents at Covenant Village in Golden Valley have some ideas about how he should get ready for his pitching debut.
I find it amazing. I've had little old ladies coming up to me and want to know if my arm is okay and am I practicing, and so yeah, people I didn't think even knew Twins played. It turns out there are a lot of fans here.
Well, after playing a little catch, I can tell you Emery is on target. His arm is okay, and he plans to pitch the full 60 feet, 6-inch distance from the mound to home plate. So good luck, Emery. And he knows how to throw it. He was a shortstop in high school.
Yeah, and you could say, too, you got a little practice today,
I got a little practice. Let one go by, but we won't talk about that.
That's okay this time.
That's it for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
We'll see you back here again tomorrow starting at 4.